Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket from Rev TV. You'll get every game every Sunday afternoon from around the league. Plus, NFL Sunday Ticket gives you up to 8 live games on one screen with Game Mix. You'll get that died and woke up in football heaven experience when you upgrade to NFL Sunday Ticket Deluxe, including Red Zone, the channel dedicated to every scoring play from every game. And if you add Rev TV HD to NFL Sunday Ticket Deluxe, you'll be entered to win big weekly prizes with NFL Wildcard Mania. Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket.
The F&M wants PLP MP Dr. Andre Rollins. This as the DNA invites the outspoken MP to join the Green Team. A man shot dead in the McQuay Street area. Plus, the BCPOU threatens to shut down Cable Bahamas. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and MV12 starts now. Topping news tonight, just one day after Fort Charlotte Member of Parliament Dr. Andre Rollins' scathing attack on Prime Minister Perry Christie, the Free National Movement says Rollins' days in the PLP are numbered, making it clear he has a place in the F&M. Party Chairman Darren Cash said in a statement, Rollins was spot on when he declared the country needs new political leadership, asserting that Prime Minister Christie has passed his sell-by and use-by dates. He added that the PLP's new generation leaders are merely window dressing, which Cash says must be difficult for go-getters like Rollins and Marco City MP Greg Moss. Meantime, there is no word on the outspoken MP's future in the Progressive Liberal Party, and the Christie-led government, acting Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis, suggested last night that he expected the Gaming Board chairman's resignation today. Kyle Joaquin takes the story from here.
A day after Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins blasted Prime Minister Christie and called for there to be new leadership within the country, he went back to work here at his private practice on Robinson Road and refused to give any further comments on his possible resignation from the PLP.
Now, did you hear me on that, Fort Charlotte? No, did you hear me say, look here. Let me hear you say, Andre Rollins.
They've gone from holding hands in solidarity at the opening of Dr. Rollins' Fort Charlotte headquarters in 2012 to clashing in Parliament. There is speculation that Rollins' days in the Progressive Liberal Party are coming to an end. This after the outspoken PLP MP's scathing attack on Prime Minister Perry Christie and his party during his contribution to debate on the VAT bill. Earlier in the debate, Christie gave a tongue-lashing to Marco City MP Greg Moss, stating that there would be consequences for his anti-government position. But Rollins wasn't having any of it. He said he's tired of hearing Christie quote scriptures from the Bible, calling that tactic tiresome and played out.
The Prime Minister's statement earlier today, and he consistently refers to Psalm 103, where he says our lives are like grass, etc., etc. We've heard it a million times now, and quite frankly, I'm tired of hearing it. The reason I'm tired of hearing it is because when I want to hear scripture read repeatedly, I go to church.
But that wasn't all. Next, Rollins went for the jugular, saying there needs to be new political leadership in the country.
When a leader and minister of finance, when a prime minister and minister of finance could take a debate as important and critical to the pockets and wallets of the Bahamian people, a debate as critical as that, when he could spend most of his contribution threatening members on this side, it's evidence that we need new leadership.
The Gaming Board chairman also hit out at the Christie administration on a number of failed promises, and what he suggested was a lack of transparency. The first was bringing back retired civil servants to fill positions that younger professionals can have. As for the November 6th constitutional referendum, Rollins said it's the government's way of creating gimmick jobs to ensure its leaders are re-elected.
We will be creating jobs that are mere gimmicks, using the public purse to hire those people to convince them that it is the right thing to do to vote yes for those referendum questions. And after that exercise is completed, those jobs will be no more.
Rollins made those comments as Christie was on his way to Las Vegas. So acting Prime Minister Brave Davis stepped in, saying that this time Rollins had crossed the line.
I just need him to understand, that's what I understand, that you are serving as I stand as the chairman of the gaming board, and I would expect that you'll do what you think is honorable, having, in my view, crossed the line.
Now, our news team spent nearly 2 hours waiting to meet with Dr. Rollins inside his dental office today to see if that meeting with the acting prime minister took place and if he intended to resign as gaming board chairman. But after waiting and constant statements by the secretary that Rollins refused to speak to the media, our news team was finally asked to leave. Likewise, we sought to speak with the acting prime minister to see if he followed through with his plan to meet with Rollins this morning, but after more waiting, he too refused. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
And it seems the Free National Movement isn't the only political party eyeing Andre Rollins. Leaders of the Democratic National Alliance say if the Fort Charlotte MP is looking for a new political home, he doesn't have to look far. Simone Davis reports.
If outspoken Fort Charlotte Member of Parliament Dr. Andre Rollins decides to leave the Progressive Liberal Party, Deputy Leader of the Democratic National Alliance Chris Mortimer and Party Chairman Andrew Wilson say the party would welcome him with open arms. Despite the PLP's 2012 campaign slogan, they say the DNA is the political party that truly believes in Bahamians.
Mr. Rollins will be welcome to join us here in the DNA.
We've always said that the DNA is a big tent. If he believes that, or believes in his country, and believes in standing up on principle and doing what is best for the next generation, he can come to the DNA. Absolutely.
Mortimer said he agrees with the comments made by Rollins in the House of Assembly last evening, following Prime Minister Perry Christie's suggestion that there would be consequences for those members who take an anti-government position on the constitutional referendum bills. Rollins lashed out at Christie, saying there is a need for new political leadership in the Bahamas. Mortimer said the fact that the Bahamas needs new leadership has been evident since before the last election.
Mr. Rollins did say something interesting, and I do agree with him. He says the PLP needs new leadership. And we think that that has been evident since prior to the last election.
Rollins was a harsh critic of the Progressive Liberty Party, leaving the National Development Party to join the PLP in 2011. Mortimer added that he found it interesting that the acting prime minister asked Rollins to resign after his comments, when the public has yet to hear about why the Ministry of Works Parliamentary Secretary Renwood Wells has yet to resign after he signed a document he was not supposed to.
We found it interesting that the deputy prime minister, acting prime minister, was so quick to ask Mr. Rollins to resign, but we have yet to hear anything about why Mr. Wells has yet to resign from this government. We find it interesting that they could have a lot of words to say about Mr. Moss, and yet, similarly, we have people like Mr. Wells, other persons in their party who are not prepared to stand up and fight for the interest of the Bahamian people.
Davis said yesterday government's probe into the signing of the letter of intent is complete and the results have been forwarded to the office of the Prime Minister. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
In other news, police are investigating the murder of a 44-year-old Bacardi Road man who was shot and killed in the McQuay Street area last night. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll, said police rushed to the scene around 8:40 p.m. after receiving reports of gunshots being fired in the area. Roll said the victim was visiting family members when he was killed.
Preliminary information is that this male had arrived here to visit some of his relatives when he was accosted by a lone male who began discharging shots at him, striking him several times, fatally wounding him.
Roll said police saw the alleged gunman leaving the scene. He led officers on a high-speed chase and got away.
As the culprit exited the street, a police unit was in the vicinity where they saw this individual and was able to pursue him. And he led police then on a high-speed chase into the city area and through the Bentang area, where he was able to make good his escape.
The victim was found lying in the street by police and was pronounced dead at the scene by EMS personnel. Roll said he knows the victim personally, but did not give further information. Police are asking anyone with information that can assist officers in their investigations to contact them anonymously at 919 or 328-TIPS. Well, now that the value-added tax bill has been passed in the House of Assembly, there is major concern about the impact on health insurance premiums and private health care. Paige McCartney reports.
With the public health care system already taxed, President of Doctors Hospital Barry Rassin says to make private health care and medical insurance vatable will only increase the burden on the government service. He added that it's discriminatory for government to only tax private health care and not government. Rassin said the bottom line is that VAT will make it even more difficult for Bahamians to get an already costly essential service. When the economy went south, many employers had to cut staff. And according to Rassin, that means fewer people are insured and able to receive private health care. With the addition of VAT to health care premiums, he warns this will increase the number of people who elect not to or simply cannot afford to have health insurance.
This will cause a further decline in coverage, which will push more people to the government health system. And I also believe that the way they've done this is discriminatory against private health care, because they've completely non-vatable in the public health system and yet fully vatable in the private health system. Minimal increase in cost to the public of 7.5, but really when you compound it, the multiplier effect, I think the cost of living is going to go up anywhere from 15 to 20%. And that's, our country just can't handle that.
Although Rassin said the logistics of administering VAT remain unclear, the company had previously determined that it would cost around $900,000 per year to be VAT exempt. But he said implementing VAT will change the way Bahamians receive medical treatment.
Everybody who has health insurance, the cost of health insurance will go up. That'll cause a problem for the insurance companies for the simple reason that they have a one-year commitment on their premiums. So now there's going to be an increase immediately as of January 1st. 3 months to get ready for such a major change in our structure is impossible. We can't adjust our computer systems in that short a time because healthcare is such a complex field.
As it stands, the United States profits between $30 and $35 million from Bahamians traveling there for medical services. Rassin said he believes VAT will cause more Bahamians to seek health care abroad.
With increasing the cost of health care in this country, that will certainly have more Bahamians questioning whether they should go to Florida for health care or Cuba. I mean, some have gone to Cuba, which has a mixed system of health care, but they do leave the country.
In the House of Assembly last night, parliamentarians passed the VAT bill, which will pave the way for the government to introduce VAT at 7.5% on January 1st. The new bill makes both medical costs and insurance premiums, including health insurance, vatable. However, the duty rate of pharmaceutical goods and instruments and appliances used in medical and surgical services has been lowered from 35% to 25%. Duty on laboratory equipment will be lowered from 45% to 25%. Reporting for MB12, I'm Paige McCartney.
When MB12 returns, the DNA says VAT will be the death of the PLP. Stay with us.